Shalom. First and foremost, call Loyam La, Yahweh Bashim, Yahushai Bashim Chakwadash, Rabahab Wa Kabad Wa Haloyam La Yahweh Bashim, Yahushai Bashim Chakwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well, and as always, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. And now, before I even play this video, I got to start off with Ezekiel 12 and 28, and it reads, Therefore say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord power. Let's go to Habakkuk 2 verse 3. And this is why we're supposed to be upon our watch. It says up above, Habakkuk 2 and 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that he readeth it. All right, and we read these scriptures, and the inspiration comes upon us, and we run, you know, and we go out there and we prophesy, we do these videos, we make sure that we're constantly doing our due diligence. All right. It says, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And one of those visions or prophecies, let's go to Isaiah 19. All right, this is the times that we're coming into. Isaiah 19 and 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And we know in this context, this isn't talking about ancient Egypt. We already served captivity for 400 plus years in ancient Egypt. And the Lord delivered us, and we left with great substance. So we never returned as an entire nation to serve bondage. All right. So this is talking about a futuristic Egypt. We read Revelation of the 11th chapter and the 8th verse. It said, Their dead bodies shall lie in the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. All right. And we know that is describing Babylon the Great, which is spiritually referred to as Egypt, for the fact that we were brought over here and we served bondage like we did in ancient Egypt, but also we have, a lot of the customs and symbols, here in Babylon originates in ancient Babylonian custom. All right. You also have, cities named after ancient Egyptian cities. You have Egyptian pyramids, Egyptian obelisk, you know. So we're clearly in Egypt. That's talking about America. So the spirit is going to be placed within America or Babylon for people to basically not come together. They're going to be totally divided to where they're going to be fighting against each other. And it's basically the fact that, we're under a corrupt government and a corrupt society. It's filled with, tyranny, oppression, and it's causing the people to resist. And right now, you have it to where you have the U.S. Army conducting guerrilla warfare exercises to fight what they deem as freedom fighters, or patriotic Americans that still believe in their freedoms, their constitutional rights, or whatever, so on and so forth. And with these mandates that have been being put forth by this devil, it's been forcing a lot of people to leave their professions, people to lose their livelihood, people losing access to um you know public services, um so on and so forth. So a lot of people are feeling oppressed. This is pretty much an act of war on its own citizens from coming from this corrupt government. And we know this corrupt government is you know uh controlled by the globalist elite, the international bankers, and we know that they have an agenda set out, which is to bring forth global depopulation and also world control, and that's the new system that they want to bring in, where they want to have a technocratic government to rule and control and monitor the people. That's why everything is moving into digital biometrics. All right. So you have a lot of people that are against it, and they're building resistance. So a lot of people that's been training in the gun range. You got a lot of Edomites that that used to be a part of the military, but they left, and they even threatening to protect themselves and arm themselves in case they try to come with force. So you already see where this is all heading. Now let me read this again. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, and city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." And that's what we're seeing. The Democrat versus the Republican, the alt left versus the alt right, which is all pretty much controlled opposition. And it's just you know which side of government do you choose to rule over you? The left wing or the right wing? Pick one. All right. And people getting caught up in the politics, and they're being used in Esau's under his mind control and his theatrics, and got people playing you know sides. So now that you played into his hands, now you're divided, and now they're talking about a possible civil war popping off. You see? So now the government is preparing, for that scenario. So let's watch this news clip, and then we'll go into some more scriptures. This place is on its way out, man, and good. All right, that means that we're that much closer to this man going down. So let's listen.
Preparing for a war right here in these United States. The upcoming U.S. Army exercise known as Robin Sage. Sounds like a porn star. We'll have troops stationed in 25 counties in North Carolina. They're reportedly learning guerrilla-style warfare tactics to combat potential homegrown threats and potentially overthrow an illegitimate government. The exercise comes just days after the DoD.
And mind you, the reason why this is going on is you can see, just within how you have certain states whose governors is not with these mandates. They're pushing back, through the courts. They're basically objecting to um, the president and what he got going, and they're basically saying, no, our citizens in this state, we will not be held up under these restrictions and mandates. All right, certain state governors that's opting out of them, and even filing lawsuits against the administration. So there's clearly a divide going on. All right, in certain states that's refusing, you can believe that they're going to train parts of the military, and these are men and women who love this. Basically, they're set out to enforce whatever the globalist wants. They're there to hearken to orders and do what they're told. So if they are being trained to go out and kill their own fellow citizens, for the right price, they'll do it. All right. Plus they're under heavy mind control. So you got the New World Order troops that are training to combat any resistance to the New World Order, and this is nothing but the devil coming down with great wrath, because that his time is short. All right. And it's funny because this devil, he knows how to set the narrative. He knows how to create the narrative. He'll stage certain false flag psyops and create certain terroristic events, and then blame it on a group or a bunch of people that have a certain belief system that opposes his belief system, and he'll label them, and then they will be the ones that get blamed in this particular attack, and that's what he's been known to do. And then he'll profile you and put you out, to the world through his mainstream media, create a narrative about you, and then have the people, the average person, thinking evil of you, so that when he moves in to wage war against you, the people actually, cheer the government on. They did it with those Waco Branch Davidians out there in Texas back in the 90s. They did it with other groups. But it's funny because they'll be quick to yell terrorism, but this is the same government that allowed for Antifa and Black Lives Matter to burn down cities all across America in 2020. Then the same administration, they actually they pretty much left tens of millions of dollars worth of military equipment over there in Afghanistan to the Taliban. But the average citizen is a terrorist. If you don't trust your government, and you have your own mind, and you use critical thinking, then you're considered a potential terrorist. If you have religious beliefs, you're an extremist. So that's very interesting, man. That should tell you everything you need to know. All right, the same government, that tell you to trust the science and is using their pharmaceutical industry to pack these hospitals, and fill them up with children, elderly people, athletes. You see, while they make billions of dollars off of your misery, but they're not the terrorists. So yeah, this devil is being exposed, man. So now he wants war. So let's continue.
DOJ announced they are establishing a new domestic terrorism unit to handle the, quote, elevated threat from violent extremists in this country. So is the Pentagon preparing for a future insurrection, or are the tinfoil hats on Twitter at it again? Here to discuss, former CIA officer and Portman Square chairman. He's the group chairman and CEO. It is Mike Baker. Boy, I'll say.
It is.
Baker, this just seems weird. What is going on? Is this normal?
No, but is anything normal right now? Yeah. Look, this every time I think that we've kind of hit peak stupidity, we can lower that bar even further. Yeah. This is what happens, and it's not one group on the political spectrum. All sides at all points on the political spectrum are a little bit guilty of this, of taking unrelated events, conflating them, and coming up with a conspiracy theory, right? And so what's happened now is, as you pointed out, DOJ announced, look, we've created a new domestic terrorism unit. And then, shortly thereafter, there's this publicity about Robin Sage, which is a military exercise conducted by the JFK School for Special Forces, and it's been going on for 5 decades. And it's named after a World War II officer, Colonel Sage. But the idea of
boy, was I wrong.
There you go. See, yeah, you were slightly off base there. Yes, he was a fairly famous officer who escaped from the Nazis after many attempts. But the idea of the exercise that they're doing in Carolina, and they have been doing again for 50 plus years, is it teaches these these special forces candidates. It's their last exercise of their course. How to operate in unconventional settings, how to work with the local population to defeat whatever the enemy is out there. And so it's very important. It's a problem-solving exercise in sort of a theoretical sense, but it's very complex. And it's not unusual. I mean, it's other military elements do it. My old outfit, the agency, we have similar, lengthy exercises that we do, and it's all designed to drop you into an environment and make sure that you've absorbed all that training that you've had up to that point.
I know, but the federal government, this administration, has basically said, like, domestic terror, biggest threat we face of any threat on the planet, and it's really just MAGA hat wearing gun nuts. And there was very little subtext. They're basically tarring and feathering Trump voters, at least trying to. And
See, and they're making it about, alt left versus alt right. Oh, you had, these gun toting, MAGA hat wearing patriotic Edomites, and they want you to remember January 6th and, Capitol Hill riot, which was all staged. It was all a big psyop, man. But really they're training for any resistance to the New World Order, man. All right, if you on social media posting why you don't trust those damn shots, you don't believe in wearing masks and all this other stuff, and you have your reasoning why, you're gonna automatically be labeled a conspiracy theorist or a misinformation spreader, and you might be dangerous. All right. If you're not going along with the program of the beast, you're in opposition. So that's really ultimately what they're training for. And they know that there are certain people that's not going to just lay down. And the American public they're the most armed public of people in the world. In other countries, the citizens aren't armed like that. That's a privilege here in Babylon, according to the Second Amendment right to bear arms. So this is the reason why they want to use their military instead of training them for a possible conflict with the Chinese or the Russians or the North Koreans or whatever. They rather train them to kill what they call freedom fighters, or patriots or domestic terrorists. So hey, it's coming to a head. This devil knows is pretty much a wrap. It's over with, man. And now they finna come down with more force. You see that they getting ready to open up these quarantine centers or certain bills being passed, for people to be forcibly detained if they feel that they're a threat to the general public, health wise. It's all happening, man. You got the military, the National Guard, taking the place of these fired nurses and doctors that didn't want to comply to those mandates, and now they're actually filling the hospitals and helping people with the testing and lifting people's sleeves up. So you see where this is at, man. Everything is becoming militarized.
it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
clear they were drawing a picture of, you know, Republicans. And come on, man.
Right. Well, and this is the
I mean, you
problem.
must know a lot of people like that in Idaho. Like a lot.
Yeah. Oh, please. Oh, Boise, Idaho, fastest growing city in America, by the way.
Wow.
And so,
Those
look, what
terrorists have
President
to go
Biden
somewhere.
did when he went down. Yeah, President Biden went down to Georgia. That was
The devil.
That was a song, wasn't that? Charlie Daniels song.
Sure
Yeah.
was. God
Anyway, so
rest his
President
soul
Biden
too
went down to
soon.
Georgia. Yeah, he was looking for some souls to rile up, right? And he's got this narrative that he's just not backing off of, which is, I think, pathetic and cynical. So you take that, you take what the message that this administration is sending out there. It's very divisive. Talking about how democracy is on edge. It's almost going to collapse if, by God, the White House doesn't do something about it. And so that that absurdity, then combined with sort of one side that's always skeptical of any government effort. They look at the military and go, "Oh my God, maybe the military is preparing to attack U.S. citizens." Everybody's just gotta chill out. Yeah. No, well, I mean,
Everybody got to chill out. Even it. Come on, man. They're training for guerrilla warfare exercises. They're gonna be, using, you know, uh, assault rifles. You know, uh, they're gonna be firing blanks. They're gonna be shooting flares. They're gonna make it sound like they're really in a freaking war, but they don't want you to believe that they're training for the possibility that there's going to be an actual conflict where this devil's going to use the military to come down upon the people. Esau wants you to just calm down, don't think nothing about it. That's his devil for you, man. But we know this devil's track record, man. We know about Rex 84, the King Alfred plan. We know about Project Megiddo. I mean, there's so much out there. All right, the NDAA, the Patriot Act, so many laws that are already in place for this devil to be able to wage war against the citizens, especially Jake. You know, you Jakes are the main face of resistance when it comes to this mandate. You know, they still focused on you getting that damn shot, and then it's you that's on the news. You know, looting and robbing freight trains. You know, you've been doing all the smashing, grabbing, robbing these stores. So eventually, you're gonna become the terrorist that Esau wants to paint. And that's why you go down here, Isaiah 19 and 17. It says, "In the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which ye have determined against it." You know, these wild ass niggas out here, they're gonna become a terror to Egypt, and you start to see that a little glimpse of it on the West Coast. You know, Jake turning it into the damn purge out there. You see, the homicide rates going up. People ain't safe. They going up in the hills and robbing rich folks, breaking into their homes. So yeah, man. So the military is gonna soon come down on you, Jakes, and guess what? That's gonna be the Heavenly Father sending this devil against you. All right, Isaiah 10, verse 5. And it says, "O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge." He's going to give this devil, all right, which is his sword, he's going to give him charge over you to take the spoil and to take the prey and to track them down like the mire of the streets. You know, them troops are going to get active with you, Jakes, man. All right, and we're going to know that that's the judgment of the Heavenly Father coming down upon you. Because you niggas are y'all out your mind, man. Wild, wilding out. The police can't even respond to certain issues. So it's coming, man, and this is pretty much bringing Babylon, you know, to its knees, man. It's in shambles. All right, Babylon is falling, and there's no balm for her pain, man. So the Lord is sparking that spirit of division on this place. And what did the Lord say about a nation being divided? Go to Matthew 12 and let me go to the one in Mark. I like going to that one. Mark 3 and 24. And it says, "And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end." You know, we at the end of Esau's rule. This is, as it is written, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so this man's kingdom is crumbling, is divided. You know, the EU is in shambles right now. They breaking up. You know, they trying to figure out what to do about Russia and Ukraine, the Ukraine situation. The U.S. is, you know, finding itself in all these different, you know, proxy wars all over the place. You know, you contemplating, you know, over here, trying to take Ukraine, you know, from the backyard of Russia. You trying to take Taiwan, you know, from the yard of China. It's getting yourself in all type of conflict, and that's why you're gonna be destroyed. Now, when you read this in the was it the NLT? It says a kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. We seen that in the history, hundreds of years ago. It is prone to happen again. All right. So anyway, I just want to go into that. Lord willing, this is edified, and we give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. To the next lesson, Shalom.